Yeah, it's just the pickle. It's the Eddie and Webby show, but it's just the pickle. It's just the pickle. The Eddie and Webby show, but it's just the pickle.
Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 92nd podcast.
Wait, Eddie, I thought we were done doing new episodes of the podcast.
Well, we kind of are, but we have so much amazing content that we've been able to have from this podcast for the last 5.5 years. We want to re-release it to you guys here, but we want to make sure it's just the pickleball that we bring to you. So, Webby, what are we going to call this?
What if we just call it Just the Pickle?
All right, here we go. This is Just the Pickle. We're going to be bringing you old episodes from back in the day. We're going to take the beer and the technology and all the non-pickleball parts out of it, and we're going to give you just the pickle. And for this very first episode, I'm super excited because this one dates back to almost 5 years ago. We're talking about December 8th, 2018. Do you even remember what it was like 5 years ago?
Man, not really. And to be honest, I bet a lot of people tuning into this didn't even know what pickleball was 5 years ago.
I know, it's kind of crazy. I do remember that was our 5th live episode that we had ever gone live with. We had more podcast episodes, obviously, but this was our 5th one when we were live. We were still very raw to it. I still remember getting super nervous beforehand.
Yeah, I feel like I was getting nervous even all the way up through the 90th episode.
I know. Another thing is this is actually the very first episode where we started wearing sunglasses. I know there are a couple of reasons behind it. One of them was I played in a tournament that day. It was my first 3-0 gold medal that I had won. And sunscreen got in my eyes, and they were poofy and swollen. And I know you had a recommendation because of our logo. Why not wear sunglasses? Is that right?
Yeah, I think somebody actually left a comment. They were like, hey, where's the sunglasses? Just because they like recognize from our logo. And then we used to wear our sunglasses a lot in our regular vlogs and stuff like that. So it just seemed like the perfect thing to do at the time.
Our guest that night was 19 years old when we did this episode, still in college, not able to even legally have a beer with us at this time, and was already a dominant force in pickleball.
Mr. Benjamin Johns, is that right?
That is right. This is episode number 29 with Ben Johns. This was a great episode. We got to see a side of Ben that a lot of people hadn't seen before. You know, he's an engineer, so he's got this kind of logical / nerdy side to him that came out, which was cool. And if you watch closely, you'll see a social media comment and question come in from another very well-known pickleball pro.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a very fun, very funny moment, so you're definitely not going to want to miss it.
That's right. So without further ado, we bring you Just the Pickle from December 8th, 2018, episode 29, with the one and only Ben Johns.
Oh, man. Yeah, here we are with another amazing guest that I am super excited to introduce. I still can't believe we got him on tonight. He has an extremely impressive professional tournament record in the wonderful world of pickleball that we have all come to know and love. At only 19 years old, he has won numerous gold, silver, and bronze medals in pro-level tournaments. In fact, he recently won gold in the pro men's doubles at the 2018 USAPA National Championships. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Ben Johns. Ben, thank you very much for taking time to be with us today.
Hey, how are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Doing great. Thank you very much for being here. This is awesome. I say we start right off with a question. I want to ask a question that Ben has probably never heard before. How long have you been playing pickleball, and when did you first learn about it?
I've heard it once or twice. Let's see. So I've been playing about 2.5 years. I learned about it in Naples, Florida. I lived down there for a brief time, and I was a tennis player for many years. So the community I lived in, there were pickleball courts right by the tennis courts I played at, and I just saw it played one day, and then I gave it a try, and then the rest is history. So
that's awesome, man. When
Nice.
when did you live in Naples?
Okay, so basically my family were snowbirds, so we would go down to Florida for like 4 to 5 months out of every year for about 8 years in a row.
That's awesome, man. That's where I live. I live in Naples, so that's cool that you got a chance to be able to do that.
When did you play in your first tournament?
Let's see. My first tournament was the very first U.S. Open, so it I got a good taste of pickleball pretty much immediately. So yeah, like having the U.S. Open as my first tournament was just like, hey, this is pickleball, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, man. I mean, just you talk about jumping into it. Like that's pretty incredible. That right. Is your first tournament. Like no easing into it. Just jump right into that one.
Right. Yeah, that's a little more impressive than my first tournament. My first tournament was a local round robin tournament, but I mean, it was a fun tournament, but definitely not quite the same level as what Ben did for his first tournament.
Yeah, that's cool, man. How in an average week? You know, I know you're in school and everything like that. Like, how much time do you typically get to dedicate to playing pickleball?
Ooh, I guess that ranges a lot. So when I'm in school and I don't have any upcoming tournaments, like in the near future, I don't practice at all. But once the tournament starts to roll around, say a week or 2 weeks before, I'll try to start getting some drilling in with some of the guys around here that play. So I'd say on average 4 tournaments at 0, and then right when they're coming up, I'd say if I can get it, I'll do like maybe 6 hours a week.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. That even with that little bit of time, you're still able to perform at the level that you do. That's amazing, right, man. That really is amazing.
Thanks.
So the first tournament you were talking about, was that in 2017?
No, so the very first U.S. Open was in 2016. So they just held their 3rd one this year. So yeah, I learned the game in February of 2016, which was 2 months before the very first U.S. Open. So I played that after I'd been playing for a few months.
Nice. So you would have been 16 at the time, or 17?
I just turned 17.
Okay.
What rating were you at that point? Like, do you remember the actual rating you entered as?
So I didn't really know much about ratings. So when I put it into pickleball tournaments, I just said I was a 4 or 5. Then in the divisions, I just played mixed age and I played open singles because I didn't know anybody to partner except for my one mixed doubles partner for age that I kind of learned the game with. So, and then for the singles, I was like, hey, what the heck? I don't mind losing to some good players, so I'll just play pro.
Wow. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome. I mean, it also kind of pisses me off a little bit, right? Because I feel like I work my butt off to try and even compete at a 3.0 level. And here you come in there, your first tournament, you're like, yeah, I might as well play 4-5 mixed or 4-5, doubles, 5-0 pro. No big deal. Just whatever. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it's very cool to hear, but I'm not going to lie. I get a little angry when I hear about people like Ben, and we had Cassie on the show in the past who they're like newcomers to the sport. They're winning gold medals left and right. I mean, it angers me a little, but no, it's awesome. It's very cool.
How old were you when you started playing tennis?
I started playing tennis when I was 8.
Okay. Nope. Still, even
so
after
you are,
that's amazing.
You're currently attending college now, is that right?
Yep, I'm at the University of Maryland, sporting the Terrapins.
Nice, man.
Oh, nice. Go Terrapins.
Yeah.
So what are you studying there?
I am studying material science engineering. It's a mouthful.
Wow. Material science engineering. That's cool.
I think it's interesting because almost anytime I say that, people just ask me what is that, because it's kind of a not a usual major. So it's kind of a new one. I think the department only opened that major in 1998. So it's relatively new and developing engineering, which is kind of why I like it a lot. And it's also a really small department. I get to kind of know everybody. So it's a real cool major. Happy I'm in it.
So material engineering, I'm assuming that you engineer different types of materials for like clothing and stuff. So like you're a master at cotton and different things like that, right?
So
Or no?
it's very applied to a ton of things. So that is, for instance, one thing that you could do with it. But I mean, it pretty much relates to any kind of anything you can think of, really. So anything you need engineering for in general, you're also probably going to need a materials engineer to help you out with that, because material is in everything. So it's kind of a crossover of chemistry and physics.
That's awesome.
Nice. Definitely something I would not excel in. That's for sure. I probably would not be too good in that subject. I'm not smart enough for that.
What made you want to go for that major?
So I was in business school for my first year, and I just started to transfer into engineering. And I kind of went for that because, one, I didn't know it existed in my first year. And then I just happened to do a project where I had to research some other majors, and I came across it. And the reason I kind of found it interesting was I realized I'd always loved like experimenting with stuff, especially in like the materials and like combinations of things. And I just really love experimenting, particularly with materials. So I was like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And I just didn't know it was there. So.
That's awesome, man. Do you get to do any like hands-on work, or is a lot of it more like theory and lecture based right now?
So right now it's mostly theory and lecture based. And that's just because I'm doing in classes, but I actually love how UMD works here, because you get a really personal relationships with the professors you take classes from in the department. And a lot of the time they need help with the research, and that's kind of primarily why they're here. It's not for teaching, it's for doing the research that they want to do. So students get a ton of opportunities to work with professors in a lab, you can go into industry and get internships. So it becomes a lot of hands-on work once you get deep enough into the major.
That's awesome.
Nice. I got to give a couple shout outs here. We've got a couple people that have left some comments. We've got Jay Hall and Scott Golden. They said, "What's up, fellas?" And Jay actually said, here's an idea. This is going back to the Twitter comment we had about how long our episodes were. He said, don't have a standard podcast length. Just have them as long as it takes to get that week's content in for the viewers. Keep killing it. So thank you, Jay, for that comment. And we actually got a comment here from somebody by the name of Kyle Yates. He says, Ben loves experimenting in college.
Yes.
What does that mean?
I love it.
As Kyle would say, don't worry about
it. That's awesome.
Nice.
Man. Oh.
So Eddie, I don't know about you, but like, did you just get nervous, a little more nervous now, knowing that Kyle Yates is watching? Because I kind of did.
A little bit. I wonder, is he eating his first, or is this time for first dinner, second dinner? I'm not sure which one he's eating.
I believe
right
this
now.
is the first. I would think this is first dinner time. So Kyle, I don't know if you're still watching, but did you just have your first dinner, or is it almost second dinner time? I'll be sure to let everybody know if he lets us know. But anyway, moving along here. So Ben, does your school have a pickleball program by any chance?
Ooh, well, as you probably know, most schools don't really know of pickleball yet, but I'm doing my best to start it here. I started a pickleball club. I'm the president. Surprise, surprise. And I've just been trying to get a lot of my friends that are on the tennis team to try it out. I was just really busy this semester, so I only got to run it once, but I got a fair number of people out, and they all loved it. So they're all asking me when we can do it again. So I'm sure it's got a ton of room to expand. I just haven't gotten around to it yet because I'm lazy.
That's cool, though. I mean, it's not like you have a lot on your plate or anything, right? You know? Yeah. You're just out winning titles and, you know, playing all these sports, going to school. Yeah. You know, it's not like you're busy or anything, right?
So
Eddie, are you like me? Like,
balance.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say it's all about balance. I feel like I know people that do even more than me, so you know, I just try to do what other people do that are real industrious, and I still think I'm lazy sometimes.
Yeah. I guess if that keeps you motivated, then that's cool. What were you saying, Webby?
Oh, I was gonna say to Eddie, like, how much does it bother you that pickleball wasn't as big of a deal back when we were college age? Because I wish I was playing pickleball back when I was younger, but like back then I feel like nobody knew what it was.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a sport that I feel like had we picked up back in the day, I feel like we'd be so much more advanced by now. I mean, I used to play racquetball all the time, just kind of recreationally, and I feel like that helped with learning to play pickleball. But had we had pickleball, I think I would have played it nonstop. I don't think I would have ever stopped playing it. It would have been
Oh
my
yeah.
sport of choice for sure.
Yeah, I would have spent so much time playing pickleball. It bums me out, but oh well. I'm just glad that I found it at this stage in my life and not when I was like 80 years old or something like that. So at least I should be thankful and grateful for that.
Well, I feel like most people do, especially down here in Naples. Most people find pickleball when they are entering their, retirement years of life as well. So I do feel grateful that I got to it before that point. But yeah, I would have loved to have started it when I was younger for sure.
Yeah. So Ben, one thing that you are very well known for is having an amazing backhand roll. How did you get so good at that?
Oh, the backhand roll. That's definitely my favorite shot. So I'd say that shot comes from the crossover sports I played. So obviously tennis, but that shot more came from table tennis. I don't know. So in table tennis, what you call a similar shot there would be a backhand drive, which is kind of like just a heavier kind of backhand with a ton of spin. So it's kind of a similar motion in pickleball. And it's not really what you'd consider a tennis shot, because any volley in tennis you hit is not hit with top spin generally. So it's more table tennis than tennis. So I think I got it mostly from that. And it turns out that my strategy is basically pretty one-dimensional when I'm up there. I'm almost always just looking to hit that shot because I feel like it's very hard to defend just because it's very difficult to read. And if you place it in the right place, you can't really attack against it. So that's almost my only strategy while I'm up there is just to get that shot eventually and put it in a tough spot to get to. And at worst, they get it back and they hit a good block. And at best, I get a point. So that I just feel like it's a shot that's perfect for anyone's repertoire, just because it's very hard to defend against.
Nice. Do you
Very
practice
nice.
that one often when you're doing drills and things like that?
Yeah. So in that one, I wouldn't say I really ever drilled that one much. That one, I feel like I developed mostly just in rec play, kind of naturally, and practice play. Of course, you always practice when you're playing, even if it's rec. And I guess I kind of realized how effective it was eventually. And then I just tried to hit it as much as I possibly could, even when I wasn't good at it. I did it as much as I possibly could, whenever I could. And, eventually the reps kick in.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. So there's a question that Webby and we don't really see eye to eye on, and we want your perspective. Since you've spent a lot of time in Naples and warmer climate year round, and then now up in Maryland, is pickleball an indoor sport or an outdoor sport?
Okay, well, that's kind of a tough question because almost everyone I know, and myself included, prefer to play outdoors. The problem with that is sometimes the conditions can be a little tough. Say if it's really windy, obviously it's a wiffle ball, it's going to blow around everywhere. So that makes you want to say it's an indoor sport. So I would say if the courts were numbered enough. So the thing is, pickleball is really easy to play, right? Because you have so many tennis courts around the country. So you can just put up a pickleball court almost anywhere just with lines and a net. Whereas indoor courts are a little tougher to find just because they're usually like tennis clubs and stuff. So what ends up happening is we put the lines on a gym floor in like in a YMCA or something like that. And gym floor it's not very fun. You got to play with a real rubbery ball. It's just a completely different game. So I never play on gym floor and I don't really like it very much. But if you could play on hard court indoor, I love that. That's great because you got ideal conditions and you're still playing on a hard court. So if it's indoor and hard court, I'd say it can easily be an indoor game. But at the stage we're currently at, where it has to be on a gym floor when you're indoor, I would just say it's an outdoor game.
All right.
Nice. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
I've typically
It was
been
right in the
on
middle,
a
I
team.
think.
Yeah. But I've typically been on team indoor. I'm from Michigan, so half the year is like super cold and horrible. So most of my game time is spent indoors. So I'm a little more used to it. And I mean, I definitely love playing outdoors, but again, because I'm in Michigan, I feel like the outdoor situation with the weather conditions, it can make things not so fun if it's a windy day or even if it's a super sunny day, because we don't have like any covered courts and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely understand why people prefer outdoor courts, but I've had the elements affect me negatively too many times to where I'm like, I'd rather just consistently play indoors.
Yeah, I've been playing in the Florida State Championships down here at East Naples for the last 2 days, and some of the new courts that are off in the back, they didn't have any of the windscreens up, and both days there was a pretty heavy cross court wind, and even in some of our dink rallies, you're trying to do a cross court, push your opponent over, and it lands a foot out of bounds, and you're just like, oh, and I get so frustrated with that. So I definitely understand, but I think that's also part of the fun. To me, you have a strong windy day and you're rotating sides. It's kind of like the great equalizer, right? Like rain in football. It kind of really it brings the best out of people because now you have to take that element into effect. So I don't know. This debate, we're never gonna. I don't think Webby and I are ever gonna see eye to eye on this one. But
I think it's cool though. Like the wind can it can be really fun if it's like a slight wind, but then once you get in that gale of like 25, 30 miles an hour, that's when you want to stop playing.
Right.
There's actually wind brings to mind the one tournament. My first tournament I played with Kyle Yates a long time ago, and we played in, oh boy, it was at least 25 mile per hour winds. Still remember that day.
that's awesome. Where was that?
Man, that's crazy.
That was in LaBelle, Florida, at an RV resort, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in kind of the middle of nowhere, Florida. I remember having to drive a long way to get there.
Nice.
Yeah, and one thing you mentioned, you talked about how sometimes it can be fun, if it's a slight wind, to try to use that to your advantage and stuff like that. I did have a little bit of fun at one of the times I played outdoors. I feel like I'm pretty good at adapting to the conditions, so it can be kind of fun if you're good at adapting to the weather conditions better than your opposing team, because you could definitely take advantage of that. So I can definitely see that side of it too. I did kind of enjoy it. There was one time where I played outdoors where it was slightly windy, not too bad, but enough to affect the game, but in a fun way. So I definitely see your point there. But we can't have Ben Johns on the show without talking about nationals. Nationals
Yeah.
recently happened, and he had a pretty good turnout there. And one thing, I have a lot of respect for you to go and agree to team up with an unknown rookie in the men's division. That was a pretty bold move on your part. No, I'm just kidding. So as everybody knows, Ben, or as most people know, Ben teamed up with Kyle Yates. That's pretty awesome person to team up with. How did that partnership come to be?
Okay, yeah. So Kyle, first of all, the GOAT, the veteran of all veterans. I couldn't have asked for a better partner. So Kyle, I met originally nearly when I started playing. I met him at the U.S. Open in 2016, so April of 2016. I got to know him better over the summer at a tournament I played in Michigan, and then a little more at Nationals that year. And then I really we got to know each other a lot better in 2017 when I went down to Florida, and I was there from January till May. And that year was when I started playing a lot more. So we drill a lot together. We play a lot together. And that was when we first started playing just a few small tournaments together. And then let's see, over the summer, I think we played against each other quite a bit because, you partner so early in pickleball, it happens a lot. So yeah, I played against him a lot that summer. So we just kind of got to be a lot better friends, especially from that time in the spring where we played a ton together. And I guess we confirmed playing some tournaments for this year. During that summer, we planned for next summer. And at Nationals that year, he asked me to play Nationals of this year. So that's about how it came to be.
Nice.
Yeah, it seemed like that was a good partnership that obviously landed some pretty good results, and I'm sure it will in the future as well. Another thing about nationals, though, that we heard a rumor about is that you weren't feeling so well. Can you talk about that at all?
Yeah, sure. So let's see, on doubles day. Okay, so one thing that I guess some people know about, I'm not sure. I did have pneumonia for a few weeks leading up to it, but by the time I came to nationals, I was feeling pretty good. I'd been playing, so I didn't think that the pneumonia was affecting me. And I felt good on Thursday when I got in. I felt good all of Friday when we played. And then Saturday morning, I don't really know exactly what happened, but I wasn't feeling very well. My stomach hurt a lot. So basically what ended up happening is I played my winner's bracket final with Kyle against Matt and Dave. And then between the bronze medal match where I played Daniel and Marson, between that, like over my rest from the previous match and before Marson and Daniel, I really started to feel a lot sicker. And then right before that match, I threw up just a ton of liquid. So I knew something was not right. And I never really found out what it was. The first aid tent thought it was the flu. So it could have been like a relapse of the pneumonia. I thought it felt more like food poisoning. So I wasn't really sure. But I felt better after throwing up. And we went on to win that match. And then it was really rough to eat anything. I knew it was going to come right back up. But we had a little bit of a break, so I went to lunch, tried to eat a few things, and then I threw up quite a bit more before the final match. And then we played the final, and there was that. So, and I guess adrenaline kicks in, and I wasn't feeling so bad during that match. I felt normal, and I mean maybe even better than normal because just the adrenaline hits me. So yeah, that was how I was feeling, but I wouldn't use it as an excuse for anything. I'd say once I was playing, it was not really too much of a factor.
Man, I don't know about you, Eddie, but as a spectator, I had no idea that you were sick like that. But then I started hearing people that were commentating. They were talking about how sick you were. And I was like, man, he looks like he's doing pretty damn good to me. I mean, it doesn't seem sick. But yeah, a lot of people that were there were talking about how sick you really were.
Yeah, it's you just gotta deal with some conditions sometimes, and it just happened to hit me at a rough time.
Yeah, like the worst time to ever be sick. It hit you. Right. Well, glad you're able to push through, man. What about after the match? Like, after the adrenaline started to clear your system, did you start to feel like crap again, or were you good?
It was really bad. I think Kyle remembers this. During the medal photos, I thought I was gonna throw up, like right on camera. So I leaned over to him and told him, he's like, "Hey, control yourself. You cannot do that right now. Don't spoil this for me. You got to hold it in, man." So I was like, okay, I can do it. So yeah, I was feeling really bad once the adrenaline kind of stopped. And so I just tried to get to bed as soon as possible.
Oh man, that would have been rough.
Oh man, I could just see it now, like on the cover of ESPN magazine, just Kyle getting his medal, and then Ben just blowing chunks all over his feet or something.
Yeah, off to the side. Oh god, that would have been nasty.
Does ESPN even have a magazine? Is that even a thing? ESPN magazine? It's the first sports-related thing I could think of.
Well, come on, it should be a thing. They need a genius.
Yeah, that's right.
Webby, tell ESPN they need to hire you.
I like it.
Eddie and Webby ESPN. See, ESPN, you could have this kind of witty talent on your magazine.
Yeah. Who comes up with this stuff? Webby does.
That's right.
Yeah.
I want to go to Facebook real quick. We do have a few comments here. Paul Olin, I know you kind of covered this a little bit already, Ben, but he said, Ben, so how often are you practicing while at college?
Okay, so Paul Olin, he is actually my main practice partner while I'm here at school. And anytime I'm drilling, it's usually with him. So he's kind of my local guy around here. Great guy. So fun to drill with just because he's consistent. And I mean, he's down for anything. He'll play anytime I can. So really, it's me that holds things up. So yeah, his question was how often I practice at college.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Paul, you should know. Yeah. So when I don't play, like I said before, with when the tournament's not real close, I wouldn't say never, but we don't get to hit very often. But then once the tournament gets closer, I try to schedule some stuff with him. Sometimes we'll get a foursome if we happen to have a few other guys that are available. But yeah, I'd say up to the tournament, I'd drill at least twice a week with him for a couple hours. So like probably 6 hours a week if I can get that. Maybe a little more if it's getting real close to the tournament.
Webby, you should have mentioned that after his question, he had 2 angry face emojis after it. So I think he was trying to bait you there a little bit.
Right.
He was looking for the credit. You deserve full credit, Paul. Main practice partner.
That's awesome.
And then we also have another comment here from Jessica Woodrich. She says, "Where can I get an Eddie and Webby sticker?"
Oh,
that's a great question. All
What's
I can say
guys?
is stay tuned. All I can say is stay tuned because we have some stuff in the works as far as merchandise. But right now we can't say too much more about it.
Mm-hmm. We talking about nationals. Yeah. So that gold medal match, man. I mean, God, that thing was unbelievable. Ton of back and forth excitement going on. Like, can you kind of walk us through like how you feel about how that match went down?
Yeah, sure. So I felt pretty good going into that match. I felt like Matt and David kind of played like lights out in the winners bracket final, and I was hoping they weren't going to play exactly like that in the final. So I guess our strategy going in was pretty much just grind things out. So Matt and Dave's defense it's really incredible. At any ball you think you can attack that you normally can attack against almost anybody else, you don't want to attack against them just because their hands are lightning fast. So you really got to choose your balls really wisely. So Kyla and I both agree that we should just try to grind them out, dink more than we really ever usually do, just because the balls that you can't attack, you really got to make sure that ball is the one that is not coming back with some pace on it. So that was a strategy going into it. Game 1, I felt like it went pretty similar to the winners bracket final. I don't think we stuck to the plan quite well enough. We were definitely attacking balls a little earlier still than we should have, and Matt and Dave pretty much punished that. So that kind of went as I guess as it should have. Then game 2, I guess we realized we really need to just, we're not going to lose this just hitting away. Let's try to grind and see what happens. So that was kind of my view on it. And that second game was just so tight. It was a lot of back and forth, and that I think came down to adrenaline and just a few key points, like just whoever really wanted the point and really came through under the pressure. Those few points right at the end really mattered. I know there was a point where we were down 10-9. They had 2 match points, and those points were just so tight that they could have won it almost at any time. And I really thought they almost had it at one point, because I know Kyle was on defense in their first match point, and he clipped it right over the net, and my heart just stopped when it hit the net. I was like, oh, that's it. No. And then it just trickles over, and we ended up winning that point. And then in the second match point, I remember it was kind of long, and then Kyle got swung wide, and he tosses up a lob over Matt Wright's head, who, in my opinion, has the best overhead in pickleball.
Yeah. So
to bring that out, I think everybody was surprised except him. And then we ended up winning that. And I just think that how gutsy that move was kind of gave us some momentum to win the next few points. And the next 3 points we won with driving all 3 balls. And I feel like that, just as even a general tip to people, I feel like when people get really tight, a drive can really do a lot. because if you're tight, your touch might be not quite so good. So your third balls float a little high or you miss them. And your opponents are a little tight. So their blocking may just be like, they kind of have some indecision. And you actually see that with what Kyle did the first one. He hit a drive through the middle and they didn't even touch it. And that's usually because when you're tight, your communication gets a little worse. And I feel like they just didn't communicate with each other and it went right through. So I think it was a really smart move on his part, because most of the time we were dropping the ball, because driving the ball against those two guys, Matt and Dave, is just not a good idea.
Right. Yeah.
But he really chose the right time to do that. And then I kind of latched onto it. He hit another one. Dave missed that one. And then I hit one, and he finished with a poach overhead. So I think he got us that momentum with the lob, and then he really chose to drive the ball at the right time. And then just getting the momentum from that game was huge. We got pumped. I started feeling a lot better because my adrenaline was, on overdrive. And then game 3 and 4, I mean, we just kept that up, and it just felt so great to play kind of uninhibited. We were all over everything.
Yeah, that was an amazing match. That's for sure. That, like you were talking about that lob shot that Kyle pulled off too. When I saw that, I was like, "Whoa, did that really just happen?" And it worked. Right? It was like, "Whoa, what did I just see here?"
yeah, that was such an epic, game-changing moment, and like that match was so exciting to watch. It was awesome. But so Ben, you have a very impressive record both in doubles and singles. What would you say your preference is between the two, doubles versus singles?
So I would say I like doubles more, typically because the points are longer and it's I shouldn't say more strategic anymore, I guess. I'd say singles. It's pretty brutal. Just the amount of running you got to do and how you got to grind stuff out. It's not as fun for me, and I like having a partner. So I'd say doubles is a little more preferable. But as far as strategy goes, I feel like singles used to be just crush the serve, crush the third ball, and the point's almost always over. Like it's either a serve miss, a return miss, or a third ball winner or miss. But I think the game's developed a lot, and I think it's gotten a lot more interesting to watch and to play, because the points just go so much longer now. People are hitting drops and coming in. They're not quite the same kind of drops as doubles. They got to be even more precise and low, and you really got to cover the court well. But because of this, I mean, the ball doesn't bounce very high, so it's still hard in singles, even though the court's more open. It's still hard to put points away. So it can be really interesting if you got a couple players that really have a lot of really good consistency and they get to a lot, and the points can just go on and on. You get around the net, you can get around the net back. It's gotten so much more dynamic and just so much more fun to play and dynamic to watch. So I still prefer doubles, but I think singles has come a long way.
Nice. And then, I get this question a lot. What do you feel like the biggest differences are between men's doubles and mixed doubles, both from your strategy for playing and also the experience that the audience gets while watching people playing that?
Okay, so I guess I'll go with the audience one first. I personally love to watch mixed doubles. It's really fun to watch. Although women's doubles might be my favorite to watch. So I'll just kind of go over each of them. So men's doubles, I feel like there's so much dinking, and once somebody floats it high a little bit, the point is almost, I mean, you definitely see guys with really good defense, but I feel like their attacks are so good that once they attack the ball, the point's usually over kind of fast. And I really love the points where you have multiple attacks, you got multiple resets, and you just got the shots going back and forth. I feel like you really see that in women's doubles a lot, because all the top girls, their defense is just incredible. Like, I feel like I look at some of these girls' defense, I'm like, my defense, it's not that good. I wish it was. But I'd say their attacks aren't generally quite as good as the top guys. So you see these really good attacks, but then you got the girls just getting them back over and over. They'll reset it, then the other team will attack, and you got these really, really fun points where it just goes back and forth. So I really love watching women's doubles, and I'd say mixed doubles is kind of similar in that respect, with a little difference. So most of the time you see the girls dinking a lot with each other, But I'd say it also gets a lot more dynamic because you got strategies where the guy will get into it a little more. You'll have some teams where the guy just kind of lets the girl do her thing and puts a little pressure on, but doesn't really try to encroach on the court a ton. And then you got the girls attacking the guys. You got girls attacking the girls. And you definitely get that thing from women's doubles where you got the players attacking the ball and players getting it back and just the points going on and on, which is really fun to see. But I would definitely say the strategy might vary a little more in mixed doubles than the other two because there's just so many ways you can go about it. And I guess that kind of addresses how the audience views it. I know I love it, so I'd say I would guess the audience loves it. It's so fun to watch. From a strategy viewpoint, your partner is going to make a huge difference on strategy, obviously. But with each partner, your strategy can vary so much with that person. So it's like you got a ton of different ways you can go about it. I'd say my general strategy is I'm fairly aggressive in mixed doubles, and I definitely encroach on the court a lot. And that's not just to take. I feel like it's a misconception when some people as an audience see the guy going way over there and taking the ball and just like hitting a little dink or something. They're like, what is he doing to stay? It's like, what is his ego really big to stay off of her court? And I know I do that a lot, so I kind of wanted to explain that. And I would say we know the girls can totally hit those shots. It's more about applying pressure. I think pressure in this game is hugely underrated. And when you're moving a lot, when you see some players that kind of move over, whether it's men's doubles, women's doubles, or mixed doubles, when you kind of see them moving over as, say, two players are hitting cross court, that makes that person hitting cross court, your opponent, just want to hit better shots. So it makes them miss more often, right? So if you go over there and take a ball when you know you're not going to get burned down the line, it starts to put more pressure on players. That's one thing you can do that's kind of interesting about mixed doubles, where it's much different than men's or women's doubles. So you might see it a little bit, but yeah, like you take an example like Marcin Respetsky, he'll do that in mixed doubles, but he'll do that in men's doubles too. He gets guys at that where he'll if his partner's getting hit to a lot, he'll move over and apply more pressure, and that'll just make people make mistakes. So I feel like that's an underrated part of the game, and it's a huge part of the mixed doubles game, which I like a lot. It's very cool. For the girls, I think the strategy is really interesting because they can they usually target the other girl, but they also got to be really aware of burning the guy like down the line if people are stacking and stuff. So it's a really interesting strategy for them, and I think it's a lot of pressure on them because when you're getting hit to that much, it's got to be nerve-wracking, right? So as the guy, I feel like it's easier to play loose and stuff, but I think they have the way harder job. They gotta be hit to generally more. They're usually the one that's supposed to be more consistent, although not always. You got some aggressive girls that are really good at that kind of strategy. So strategies can really change in mixed doubles like that. But I think it's really interesting how the strategies change between teams and the actual team you have between people. And so yeah, it's just so varied in mixed doubles, which is really cool. Yeah, I guess that's about it.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, great insight there. I do want to go to Facebook. We have a couple messages here. I'm not sure if this is an inside comment, like an inside joke or something, but Jay Hall wanted us to ask you if you know any good brain teasers for the audience to guess the answer to. Winky face, winky face.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit known for that. In certain circles, he actually came to, let's see, that was in Charlottesville, Virginia. I did some teaching there with a few other pros, and he was in there. And we had a dinner night right at the end. And I love like trivia and brain teaser problems, so I gave them a few, and some of them really enjoyed it. So I know Jay probably enjoyed a few of those. So. Yeah, Jay, I do have a few. I'll give you a new one next time I see you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any that you would want to give here, and we'll see if any of our viewers can guess the answer? Or
All right, let me think. Oh, let's see. One of my favorite ones. All right, have you guys ever heard about the truth teller and the liar?
I don't think so.
No, you haven't heard about that one? All right.
No.
Have you ever heard of the Monty Hall problem?
No.
Never heard of that one?
Can't say that I
All right. Pick one and I'll give it to you. One of the two. What sounded more interesting? One's more logic and one's a little bit more math like. Which one do you want to hear?
I say logic.
The logic.
Yeah,
logic.
Okay. These guys don't want the math. All right. So the truth teller and the liar. All right. You got two doors. All right. One leads to something you really, really want. One leads to something you really, really don't want. Good door, bad door. Pretty simple. All right. You don't know which door is which. You have one guy that is exclusively a truth teller and one guy that is exclusively a liar. All right. One can only lie. One can only tell the truth. And you don't know who's who. You have exactly one question that you can ask either one of them, but you don't know who's who. And you want to get through the good door. What would you ask?
Oh man!
All right,
like
you guys got 1 minute.
What?
Oh man! Well, because if you say like which one, or if you ask one of them, "Are you the liar?" Because the liar would say yes. The truthful guy would say no. I don't know.
No, I think that's what you would have to ask. Is you'd have to ask, "Are you the liar?" Because the liar would say that they aren't the liar, right? And then the person telling the truth would say that
they aren't the liar.
The liar.
They're the liar. You're right.
Your logic
damn it, Ben!
flawed there.
Not only that, that is one question. And even if you did find out who's who, that's your one question. You still don't know which door's which.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're struggling with a 2-question one.
Oh, man. Well,
all right,
you know,
see if any Facebook got it.
Yeah, let's get those Facebook or YouTube.
Jay
comments
Hall,
on
if you remember this one, don't spoil it.
Yeah, no spoilers, people.
So far, we don't have an answer, so I'll read one of the other questions while we wait for the answer. Hopefully, somebody can get it to us because my brain
we'll come
is
back to that.
boggled right now. We got one. Here's a comment from. All right. We've got one from Stephen Westman. He said, "Hi, Eddie and Webby. Love your podcasts. Hi to Ben as well. I'm going on a pickleball trip to Mexico in January, and Ben will be there. Looking forward to playing with you."
Awesome. Yeah, that's from, I guess that's in the Mexico, January 7th to 13th. That's with my new company, Pickleball Vacation Adventures. So he's coming on the all-inclusive vacation. So I'll be very, very happy there on my time off and winter break. And I'm looking forward to playing with all the participants too.
Oh man, we need to get in on that, Webby. That sounds like fun, man.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we've definitely got to have Eddie and Webby at one of these all-inclusive pickleball vacations one of these days for sure.
Hey, Webby, real quick, before you move on to the next one, I see on YouTube that Stephen Westman also wrote on there, "Hey, Eddie and Webby, love your podcast. I was one of the guys you played at the Beer City Open. Wish I knew of your podcast before we played." Oh. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't realize
very
that was
cool.
the same
Thanks
guy,
for thanks for tuning in, Stephen. Thanks for the comments. And if you're still watching, were you in the first round that we played against, or were you in the losers round that we played in? Because
do you mean the team that held us to no points?
Did you guys go 0-2 out?
Oh yeah.
Come on, guys.
Oh, we got our butts kicked, man. Yeah, I was gonna ask, are they the team that held us to 0 points, or the team that allowed us to score like, what was it, 3 that we got?
Yeah,
and
the team that either held it. Yeah, either way, they shattered our dreams. Either they didn't allow us, his team either didn't allow us to score any points, or his team knocked us out of the Beer City Open. So either way, we're not a fan of his team. No, but we love that you're a fan of the show.
Hey, Webby, I think I might have an answer to the brain teaser, but I don't know if we should go to a couple more Facebook questions and then come back to it.
Let's do a couple more Facebook because we do have a couple more comments here. Patty Bennett Adkins says, "Patty B here. Can you ask Ben what he hopes to accomplish in pickleball over the next few years?" That's a great question.
Okay, yeah, that's a great one. So I guess my ultimate goal I guess the most lofty of goals I have would be to win the Triple Crown once, when at one of the majors. So the majors I classify as US Open, Tournament of Champions, or Nationals. And the Triple Crown would be getting gold in each pro division. So at any one time, I've only won gold in one division of the majors. So my goal ideally would be to get all three in one go. Other than that, I would say, let's see, next year. Obviously, I guess everyone's goal is the same at the pro level. Win as many gold medals in the majors as you possibly can. So I'm looking forward to next year. I think I got a good lineup of partners. I'm lucky in that respect, and I'm gonna try to win as much as I possibly can. That is my ultimate goal. Other than that, gosh, does it sound terrible to just want to win?
No, I think
not
it's
at all.
It's honest,
Not at all.
right?
No? All right, then that's my honest opinion or honest assessment. Yeah, I want to win as much as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I want to do in a tournament is win. So far, I don't have many wins in tournaments. I did win a gold medal in a 3.0 tournament, but in every 3.5 tournament I've done, not so much in the win category.
All right, Webby, we need to get you on one of these pickleball vacation adventures ASAP.
Yes.
We need to get you to that 3-5 level.
Yes.
That's awesome.
All right, let's do a couple more Facebook comments here. Jay Hall said, "I'm quiet as a church mouse," so he's not going to spoil the answer to the riddle for us. And then here's Stephen Westman got back to us. He said, "I was in the loser round. We won like 15-2." Haha.
I thought it was at least 15-3, wasn't it? Didn't we? I mean,
I'm pretty sure we got at least 3 points, maybe even more. He did say awesome. It was a closer game than that, though, so I think he was kidding. So,
all right. Thank you for helping our reputation there, Stephen.
All right, so I say let's find out what the YouTube commenter said as far as the answer and see if they're right.
So this is actually from somebody who I think is very intelligent, and that's my father, actually, Dave Atkins.
Oh,
he wrote.
Nice.
The answer or the question to ask is, which is the bad door?
Okay, so that won't work because you don't know who's the truth teller and who's the liar. So if you ask the liar, he's going to give you. So you asked him which is the bad door.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to tell you what the good door is,
mm-hmm.
but you don't know if he's the truth teller or the liar, so you don't know whether to believe him or not. So that one will not work because you don't know who the liar and the truth teller is.
Okay. Wow.
Because
I do feel like that's a really good question, though. I thought that was a very good answer.
Yeah, I agree.
Basically, if you have door A and door B, and door A is the good one, if you ask the truth teller, but you don't know who he is, you're going like, which one's the bad door? He's going to say it's B. And then the liar, you ask him, you're going to go, which is the bad door? And he's go, oh, it's A.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know which one to believe. You got an A and a B. Basically, you need here's a big hint, guys.
Oh, I think I just figured it out. But go ahead.
Question. You need to ask a question that gets them to give you the same door.
I think I just figured it out.
All right, let's hear it.
You need to ask, what would the other person say is the bad door? Right? Is that right?
Oh, nice. Yeah. You got it.
Very
nice
good.
Work.
But then you got to go with the opposite door of what they tell you.
Right.
Think about it, guys.
Because
they're
both
the correct answer.
Yeah, because they're both gonna say the same door, and then you go through the other one, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well,
right,
if you ask about the
it's not going to tell you. Yeah.
Then basically they'll give you the same door because the truth teller is going to tell you, oh, the other guy lies. The liar is going to go, oh, the truth teller lies. So you get them to basically both lie.
Nice.
I'm pretty impressed, Eddie. That was very good. Most people don't get that one that fast.
Well,
nice work.
It's once the question of which is the bad door came up, and you said, well, you still don't know who the truth teller and the liar is. I said, well, then you have to ask a question that's going to get you both. And so, yeah, that was fun. That's a good one, man. I like that.
Yeah, that was really good. Well, thanks for
Well, if
the
you want
suggestion,
if
Jay.
you want a tough one, if you want a tough one at the end, I will give you the Monty Hall problem, because then you got to do some math. But it's logic too, just really interesting logic. But
Cool.
we might have to save that one. I don't want to bore people.
We'll do that on the Ben Johns Part 2 podcast one. That's awesome though. That was cool though. I love brain teasers like that. Anything else coming in?
And
on
Stephen
Facebook?
Westman did say, Stephen Westman just said, yes, just kidding around. Love you guys. So that's awesome. Thank you, Stephen. And it was a lot of fun playing you. That was an awesome time at the Beer City Open, even though we got our butts kicked badly. But hopefully we'll redeem ourselves in January, because Eddie and Webby are reuniting on the pickleball court for the East Naples Winter Classic.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can redeem ourselves.
Spicy.
Yep. Should be.
All right, so I got a question for you, Ben. A lot of people your age are still really into video games. Are you, or have you ever been a gamer?
Ooh, okay. Currently, I can't do it. I don't really ever play. I just don't really have the time. I guess you'd call me a gamer from like probably 10 years old to maybe 16. I still like playing them. And then now I don't really have time, and they're just not as fun anymore. I guess over summer break, I did try Fortnite though. That game's everywhere. And that was pretty fun. I'd had more fun with that than I had in any game for a long time. But no, I'm not a gamer anymore, sadly.
Yeah, I feel your pain. I was a pretty hardcore gamer for a long time. And then I'd say once the birth of my daughters happened, I pretty much gave up gaming for a good 10 years. Then I kind of got back into it again. And then I'd say as soon as pickleball entered my life, I've barely played video games. I mean, I too also play Fortnite pretty regularly, because like you said, you can't escape Fortnite. You got to play Fortnite at least a few times here and there. But yeah, I barely play video games compared to how I used to ever since pickleball entered my life.
Yeah, pickleball is more addictive than any video game.
Oh, for sure. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Now, did pickleball have anything to do with you stopping being a gamer? Because I noticed you said you played until you were about 16, and then you were 16 when you started playing pickleball. Did that have any kind of relation?
Any correlation? I would say that's mostly coincidence. I guess I would rather be playing pickleball than video games at that time, but at that time I kind of already stopped. So,
gotcha.
Guess,
okay.
Maybe correlational. I don't really know.
Nice. So you said you played tennis competitively. Are there any other interesting sports or games that maybe you also played competitively?
Yeah, so sports, I grew up kind of in a baseball family. I played baseball from 6 to 16. I was a pitcher. I played table tennis primarily from when I was about 9 to 12. I played that competitively a lot. And then I kind of got busy with other things, and I stopped playing so much. But I've recently been trying to play a little more, because here at UMD we got a lot of good players. So I will try to play with them occasionally. So that's table tennis and baseball. You already know about tennis. And I also played, well, not really a sport, card game. It's kind of a little bit famous, I guess. I think it has like maybe 15 million players worldwide, which is quite a few when you think about it, when pickleball's, a little under that, but it's getting there. Yeah, it's called Magic the Gathering. And I played that competitively from when I was like 12 or 13 to 16/17. And I will say that one
competitive.
That one, yeah, I played that a lot, and I really loved it. But once I started playing pickleball, I stopped playing that quite so much, and so my decline of that was definitely related to pickleball. I just played pickleball so much in like the first year, as much as I possibly could, and I didn't really want to play that over pickleball.
Now, when you say you played competitive Magic the Gathering, do you mean like just you and a group of friends were just super competitive against each other, or did you actually like travel and play like at specified Magic the Gathering courts or whatever you call them?
Yeah, so it's a card game and not played with standard cards. But yeah, you go to usually they're game stores basically, and you play tournaments. I've competed in tournaments that have over 800 players in them.
Oh wow!
And you do play one-on-one, and you just go through many rounds in a day. So we think we have it bad in pickleball when we play 6 rounds in a day. I would play at least 9 rounds sometimes in these tournaments. Wow. So you'd have local tournaments where it's only like 30 people, and that's what I do most of the time. But then I would travel occasionally. I got to go to a few cool places. I mostly kept it pretty local for it because there's so many players. I didn't really need to travel a lot. But one year when I was playing a lot and pretty well, I won some invites to real big tournaments with a lot more money. So then I traveled a little bit for those ones.
That's awesome, man. I really had no idea that it was that big. I've seen some people play before, but I had no idea that it was that big of a game. That's pretty cool though that you got into it.
It's a fun and another very addictive game.
Yeah,
the addictive ones will get you.
Well, this is 2 episodes in a row where I learned about very interesting competitive things that are out there. So today we learned about Ben Johns being a competitive Magic the Gathering player. Last week we learned that Scott Golden, he played professional flag football as an adult for 10 years. I didn't even realize that was a thing. Yeah. So yeah, very cool. Very interesting things we're learning here. One thing I've got to ask you though, something that I deal with really bad, and I believe Eddie deals with this also, and that is pre-tournament jitters.
Yeah.
Do you or have you ever had a problem with the pre-tournament jitters, and how do you deal with them?
So I would say, everybody gets them. It's natural. And dealing is, I compare them to exams. I can compare a lot of things to exams right now. The more prepared you are, the less jitters you're going to have. So if you prepare a lot, I promise they're not going to feel as bad because you're just going to be more confident in yourself. If you're feeling the jitters really bad, you're just probably not prepared. So that's my number 1 tip. Be prepared and just good things will happen. And even if you do still have those jitters pretty bad, just things, they naturally your preparation kicks in. And even if you're not feeling great on the court, it's going to kick in and you're going to start playing well. So if you can prepare, do that. And not just with pickleball, get your sleep, get good food, prepare. So that's number 1. Other than that, I would say if you're tight while you're playing a match, to loosen up, don't be afraid to just hit shots I wouldn't say you normally wouldn't, but try to play loose. Don't play tight. You're only going to get tighter if you keep trying to play tight. So when I felt like I was way down in a match or I felt a little bit tight, I'd try to unleash some more loose playing shots. So I'm not attacking dumb shots, but I'd hit some drives and I would attack more because generally I feel like the more you attack and apply pressure to your other opponents, if it's not just dumb attacks, then it applies more pressure to them and it makes them feel tight. So you kind of reverse that and put it on them to make themselves play looser too. So those are the top 2 things I would say about jitters.
Nice.
All right, very nice, very good tips. And what you said about the being prepared, that actually makes a lot of sense, especially when Eddie and I played at the Beer City Open. That was our 3rd time ever playing together.
Yep.
So yeah, I'd say our preparation as a team is very lacking. That's for sure.
Yeah, I guess my question for you is how important is that? Like, if you're playing with a partner, because twice now I've actually gone to tournaments and I met my partner either the day before or the day of the tournament that I played with them. How important do you think it is to, have that preparation time with them?
It also really varies on the person, I think. If you're a person that kind of can get to know a person, and it has to be, it has to go both ways. They also have to be this type of person. But if it's easy for both of you to kind of be easygoing and talk to each other a lot and communicate, if you're naturally kind of good at that, it doesn't matter quite as much because you kind of just get that natural chemistry faster. But it's obviously so much easier and it feels better to already have somebody that you're confident in playing with. So most of the partners I do play with, I have played with quite a few times. And it's also nice that once you're at the pro level, it's kind of a smaller world, so to speak, so that you've probably played with almost anybody you're going to keep playing with, right? So you kind of rarely get that feeling. But the few times I have just showed up to a tournament and played with somebody, I thought it was really fun because it's kind of, you kind of got to learn on the fly. It wasn't quite so easy or successful to play at first. I especially found that in mixed doubles because I would always play tighter than I usually would because you could talk to them about it, but really in mixed doubles, you got to feel out how much they're comfortable with you coming over and that kind of thing. So I always felt tighter in mixed doubles with a new partner. But it was really fun to kind of feel that out and get to know somebody over the course of a tournament. So it's fun and it's important to have somebody you're confident in. So, there's upsides and downsides. But yeah, it would be really, really good for your results if you already know that person and you're really used to playing with them.
That's cool. Yeah, I know that I definitely still struggle with the pre-tournament jitters quite frequently. So it's something I definitely want to be able to improve on. I had them this morning, before I played mixed doubles big time. So I'm still trying to figure out the best way to be able to overcome that. So thank you. That definitely helps.
Yeah, definitely. I need a lot of help in that category. So hopefully I can take some of the.
I forgot one tip.
Oh, what's that?
I did forget one thing, guys, and I don't know. Maybe you do have experience with this since you've been playing 3-5. But the more you play up, the more used to feeling loose you get because you don't really have expectations, right? I would say one of the loosest times I can remember playing is the first term I played the U.S. Open in singles pro. I didn't know anybody. I didn't even know how good I was or how good anybody else was. I was like, hey, this is a funny sport. I'm just gonna go out there and hit the ball hard. So I couldn't have felt more loose. I'd been used to feeling nervous and tight in tennis and other competitive sports, but in this, I didn't feel anything because I was just like, sure, I wanted to win, but I was like, hey, there are no expectations here, right? This is my first tournament and I'm playing with pros. So I had no expectations of myself. And I feel like if you feel like you get the jitters a lot, just go up a division. Your expectations go dramatically down. So what's to feel tight about? Just go out there and hit the ball and have fun. So play up a level.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I completely agree with that because recently I was doing some rec play and two of the best players of the place, they played against me and one of the beginners was on my team. And the guy that I was playing with, he was like, oh man, we're going to get destroyed. And I was like, it's going to be tough to beat them, but let's go for it. And I feel like we played really good. We lost, but it was a super close game. And we did a lot better than I expected us to do. And then Eddie, even at the Dink for Pink, I kid you not, the match that I played against Eddie, I did absolutely horrible. I built up all this pressure for myself. I was like, I got to beat him. I'm a way better player than Eddie. I can easily beat him. And he ended up beating me. But then the other games I played, I was playing on teams that had 4.5 and 5.0 players, and I played way better in those games. So I think it's just like what you said. Like I just assumed that I'm not going to do good at all in this game, and had nothing to lose. Exactly like what you said. That makes a lot of sense.
It's you play up to your level, and I would say as a player that when I'm playing against other players that view me as somebody that they are playing up against, the ones I fear the most are the ones that think that, and they will go for anything. That's why you get upsets, right? Because on paper, when you have a better team, if both play like they're normally going to play, the better team's going to win. But the reason the worst teams win is they're like, hey, we got nothing to lose. Sure, we're more likely to lose this match. That's just being honest with yourself. But the point is knowing that you can win, right? Because your top level can beat their level, right? So I just feel like playing up that's what happens. You play up to your competition because you don't have any pressure and you play to like your full potential. Sometimes, other times you're not feeling it and you get destroyed because
right.
You play loose, but things don't. But sometimes that ball just won't go in. So
yeah, that's good advice. I think Webby, you and I should sign up for like 4.5 for the Winter
Screw it.
Classic.
Let's
and
go.
just-
Let's go 5.0. No, let's go 5.0. Let's
Yeah,
go 5.0
Forget
next
that.
time.
Let's go.
All right, get crazy, guys.
And I'm going to
That's
say,
fine.
Ben Johns told me to get rid of my jitters. I need to play 5.0. So let's do it. No, I definitely see what you mean, though, man. I think it's a good idea to play up a little bit.
I feel like there needs to be an Eddie and Webby match against Ben Johns and Kyle Yates. What do you think about that?
Oh, well, do I have to come to Michigan? Because it's going to be cold.
No, you come down here to Naples, man.
We all go to where Eddie and Kyle are. That
Yep.
sounds good to me. I get to play a
Yeah.
match and I get to be warm. It'll be lovely.
Be a fun time.
I say we do it.
Let's do it. That's awesome, man. Well, Ben, this has been a great time hanging out with you today, man. This is your opportunity, though, to be able to tell the world what's going on with you. If people want to follow your pickleball journey or anything that you want to share, man, this is your time.
All right. Okay. Well, now I have the mic, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess any updates that if you'd like to continue to get stuff from me, you can follow my page on Facebook. And other than that, I already mentioned it briefly, but Pickleball Vacation Adventures. Come on an adventure with me. We have a site now. It's just pickleballvacationadventures.com. We're going to Mexico in January. We're going to Ecuador in August. I think Israel's in the planning stage. So I'm really excited to go to these places, and I know everyone else is, because you get to travel, you get to a vacation, and you get pickleball. So I'm psyched. And anybody that wants to come on one of these, they can check it out.
That's awesome, man. That's cool
Yeah, it
to
is.
be able to travel to a destination like that and play the sport that we're all addicted to. Sign me up. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Right?
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
expect to see you guys there soon.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Definitely.
Webby, anything else from the socials? Any questions or anything coming in on Facebook?
We just got one. I think this is from somebody that kind of tuned in just recently, because we did kind of cover this. But Scott Rosier wants to know, maybe Scott Rosier, Ben, how many hours of pickleball do you play on average each week? So this is a chance for us to see if we were paying attention. Eddie, do you remember
Here's the
the
quiz,
answer to that
guys.
question?
I think that Ben said that, like, leading up to a tournament, he's like, pickleball what? Like, he puts his bag and his balls in the closet underneath all his books and everything else. He doesn't play at all. But then when he gets closer to the tournament, you said about 6 hours a week, right?
Yes, 6, sometimes a little more. If I can get it, that'd be great.
All right. Good. That's awesome.
All right, Eddie was paying attention. Nice.
Yes, I passed the quiz.
Atta boy.
Yeah. Nice. Any other
now, one
comments?
thing I wanted to bring up, I don't see any more Facebook comments, but I think it's time to talk about a video series that we have been doing lately.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, what do you have to say about that, Eddie?
Yeah, so we've been doing the Pickle Thug Life videos lately on a lot of our guests. And of course, if we have Ben Johns on, we have to put together a Pickle Thug Life Ben Johns edition. So I'm just going to go ahead and play it.
The serve switches sides.
So Ben and Kyle need to be a little bit careful here. That Loon and Dawson don't get on a bit of a run. You can see Ben and Kyle laughing when he missed that last serve. And yeah, they're going to want to stop the momentum of these errors right now. That's maybe why they called the timeout.
Oh, I love the dance. I love the
I
dance.
like it, guys. Wow.
Did you have any idea that in Vegas you were getting filmed when you were there dancing on the side?
I had a vague notion, but Rob Cassidy was right in front of me, so all thoughts of that just vanished, and I knew I just had to dance for Rob Cassidy. So
That was awesome. Yeah, when I was scouring through the footage of that, I'm like, oh, I got to put that in there, because I'm like, I had no idea if we even knew the cameras were rolling or anything at that point, but that was awesome. Oh,
But yeah,
Wow.
Ben, thank you very, very much for being here. We cannot thank you enough. This has been awesome. Got to learn a lot of good tips, a lot of inside information about the man himself, Ben Johns. This has been awesome. I don't know what else to say, but thank you for being here with us tonight.
Absolutely, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Man, another epic guest on the Eddie and Webby podcast here. Can you believe that?
That was awesome, man. How cool was that? You know, Ben was so open about sharing all of his experience, his competitive sport background, and that was unbelievable. What a cool guy. Wow. Webby, that was incredible. I mean, I still can't believe that 5 years ago we had Ben Johns on our podcast.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. I mean, we knew he was great at the time. I had no idea he was going to become as great as he is. I mean, I can't see anybody touching his record anytime soon. So, yeah, it was wild that we had him way back then, right when he was getting started in his pro pickleball journey.
I know, it's crazy to think. Guys, we want to know what you think. This is Just the Pickle, where we give you just the pickleball content from our previous episodes. We thought we would start off with a bang with Ben Johns, but if there's a guest that we previously had on that you guys would like for us to re-release and scrape off the stuff that most of you guys probably don't care about, go ahead and put comments down below, right, Webby?
Yeah, I think this is fun. I think this is cool. It's cool to look back at the people we've had on in the past and to only focus on the pickleball, because I know we used to spend a lot of time on the beer and the technology and just some other BS, but just the pickle from here on out.
That's right. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.
Pickleball!